The Mandate of Heaven by Colby Pantaleoni. In Thoughts of a Prosperous China, Confucianists believed in a sacred right to rule. This sacred right to rule is known as the Mandate of Heaven. Chinese emperors needed to be chosen by heaven to give the Chinese people the best that they deserved. The Mandate of Heaven is supposed to represent righteous, chosen emperors, but in the same sense requires the right qualifications for an emperor to rule over China successfully. The idea of a divine right to rule started hundreds of years earlier than the Zhou dynasty. In the humanistic tradition, Pharaoh states, "In conquest of the empire, Zhou brought forth the mandate of heaven to ratify the claim that the Shang kings were ruling without establishing heaven on earth, and therefore needed to be replaced with a worthy emperor." F069. The social order of China should have been based off of natural gifted order to promote civil life. Kings of China should be charged with maintaining the will of heaven on earth. The king's political authority required obedience to pre-established moral law, which in turn reflected the natural order. F069. The ability of a person is predefined by nature. This means that the people who have greater intellectual abilities were given that mental strength from nature. Through the mandate of heaven, these gifted people have a natural duty to govern over a social order. Zhou believed he deserved to be ruling over China because he thought he could do a better job at giving his subjects heaven's rule that way. The Encyclopedia Britannica states that the Chinese Confucian thought the notion that heaven conferred directly upon an emperor, the son of heaven, the right to rule. Encyclopedia Britannica. This definition of the mandate of heaven contributes to the overarching idea that the Chinese rulers were already predetermined by nature. People who are born to be smart, righteous, and determined should be in charge because heaven made them that way. A.T. Nguyen has done extensive research and has published works on the mandate of heaven and the divine right to rule. Nguyen poses the question, is the ruler legitimate because heaven says so, or does heaven say so because he is qualified as a legitimate ruler? Nguyen 113. The question brings the definition of the mandate of heaven to mind. Does a ruler have a divine right to rule if that ruler has unjust law in place, does not rule for the good of the state, and overall does not establish proper and civil living conditions for his or her people? Basically, Nguyen believes that an emperor will not have heaven's authority to rule if the emperor is unqualified for the position. The idea of power being given from a higher being or source is not isolated to Chinese emperors. Ancient Egyptian pharaohs claim that their source of power flows to them from their gods. This is more likely than not just a scare tactic to justify someone's right to the throne. The person in charge insists this is a truth so that his or her subjects will be more likely to accept the ruling and will not rise up to challenge the power. The correct way to put someone in charge should be based off the individual's qualifications and if they can do a good job at keeping the state prosperous.